So OpenAI just hired what is his name? Peter
Peter something.
Steinberger,
Yeah.
who's the creator of OpenClaw. And this guy is super fascinating, by the way. I listened to a Lex interview of him, of Peter Steinberger, and this is like a 3 hour long interview, fantastic interview. OpenClaw has sort of like taken everything by storm in the AI world, where people are setting up OpenClaw to be their personal assistant, using a bunch of different possible AI agents, if you will, to do various different tasks and automate, even like looking through your email. You basically give OpenClaw access to everything on your machine, which is highly risky. Be careful if you're considering it, but then it can be a very, very useful assistant. And one of the things people are sometimes doing is running OpenClaw in these isolated machines that they had sitting around, or maybe buying a MacBook or a Mac Mini, a cheap Mac Mini to run it on. You can also like run it in a virtual PC in the cloud, but then it calls these agents to do various different work. But in this interview, and OpenAI, by the way, just decided to hire Peter Steinberger to bring his work under the nonprofit portion of OpenAI, under the foundation. So OpenClaw will continue to be free and open source and available to users. Before I go on to the interesting parts and how this connects to Meta, let me like pause there and you help summarize anything I missed there with respect to this deal.
I don't think you missed anything from my perspective. I just don't know if this is going to benefit OpenAI all that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'm
I
just
mean, part of it is just the talent acquisition thing, right? So in this interview with Lex Friedman, Peter talks about how all the companies are coming at him, trying to hire him, right? And it becomes pretty clear that in the interview, it's down to what, when he's having this interview discussion with Lex Friedman, it's down to OpenAI and Meta. And he gives this sort of like a little bit of inside baseball story about how the way Meta came on the scene is that Mark and Nat WhatsApped him, like sent him a message on WhatsApp that they started using OpenClaw, and they started giving him in this group sort of text, telling him like, this is awesome, this feature is cool, this feature is not, like this is stupid. And they're basically having these conversations with Peter about how to improve his product, and he's just absolutely loving it and enamored that the CEO of one of the world's largest companies is actually using his product. So finally it comes down to like Mark saying, you want to just hop on a phone call and talk? And he says, sure, let's do it. And Mark says, give me 10 minutes, I need to just finish up some code that I'm working on. And Peter is just blown away that like Mark is still writing code. And this goes to sort of show you what a highly technical founder, CEO is capable of. And the Nat guy that he also mentions in this sort of story is the former CEO of GitHub, by the way, who is brilliant. I've met Nat. He when I was when I was running GitKraken, my other company that we sold, obviously we were partners of GitHub, and Nat was the CEO at the time. So Nat is a very, very smart guy, and he was hired by Mark Zuckerberg recently as someone to run Meta's AI division. So the fact that Meta and Nat and Mark Zuckerberg are so closely and intimately involved in all the little details tells me Meta is cooking up something very, very big. Now, I don't know why Peter chose OpenAI as opposed to Meta. I suspect it has to do with OpenAI's nonprofit arm, which is probably the largest nonprofit in the world, or will be soon if it's not already, and being able to keep OpenClaw in the nonprofit world as opposed to trying to commercialize it, which Meta might have less of an infrastructure for keeping things on the open source side and free, as opposed to what uh, what Sam Altman may have been able to offer him there. So
I don't know, but
super fascinating.
their initial models are open source, so they definitely
Yes,
have
but they
the
kind of
space.
stopped working on that. It seems like
Yeah,
Meta stopped working on Llama and has not released anything for some time. So I am kind of curious as to what Meta might release over the coming months. Um,
totally.
super excited about that.
Yeah,
But yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, in my experience, so like I think like all of us, really enamored with ChatGPT when it was first
Right.
released, and for like several years after, because they were just number one top dog.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like they've really taken a step back, at least in my personal experience. The winds have definitely changed. And I've said before, like I've been using Gemini a lot more. Really, the only thing keeping me uh, on ChatGPT is their Mac app because it's
Right.
so easy to just call it up at you where you do option
Yeah.
space, the keyboard shortcut, and it's just like right there. If Gemini had that, I'd fully switch over. So I don't I don't know. I feel like we're in this moment where the other models, Meta included, could start to surpass OpenAI.
Yeah, that's quite possible. And the type of moves that Meta is making it very, very interesting. Um, I'm kind of excited about that. So anyway, this OpenAI, I feel like it was a pretty good get for them to hire Peter because there is a lot of clout and um, I don't know, mind share that they get from the AI from that particular hire in the AI community because OpenClaw just became so big so quickly that that hire probably brings with it tens, if not hundreds, of other potential hires of people who want to go work with this guy and possibly work on OpenClaw related things. So I think it's a good hire. It's a good move on OpenAI's part. I don't know why he chose OpenAI over Meta, but it was some fascinating inside ball in that interview.
So would you say the more valuable piece of this deal is that they acquired Peter and not OpenClaw?
Oh yeah, for sure. And technically, OpenClaw is open source, so you can't really acquire it. So it's 100% about Peter.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, let's move
and
on. Yeah.
his focus is going to be on OpenClaw, by the way, just even at OpenAI.